Thank you for all staying till the end of the talk because it's been a long day with alarms and everything, but here we go. So, who's on TikTok over here? I actually can't really see many of you, but I hope you guys put your hands up. Even if you aren't on TikTok, it just takes for you guys to walk down Queen Street to realize that no one under the age of 25 anymore is wearing skinny jeans. And before you guys say anything, these are not skinny jeans. I just have skinny legs. Instead, people are wearing parachute pants, the ones that are low rise. This is a resurgence of the Y2K trend, the early 2000s. Even photos on Instagram now, they've become blurrier. My friends now screenshot their photos over and over again to diminish the quality of them to achieve that lo-fi grainy effect because that's the vibe now. So why the sudden comeback of the early 2000s? Some might say trends come and go like a pendulum. It goes back and forth. It's like a cycle. But I decided to analyze this a tiny bit further. So in 2020, we went into a global pandemic called coronavirus. I know COVID chat is super boring, and that's not what my talk is about. Hear me out. But with COVID came lockdowns, and with lockdowns came trigger word, uncertainty. When the future looked so blurry, we spent our time looking back, whether that was watching Mean Girls for the 50th time or streaming music videos from pop icons like Britney Spears. The yearning for nostalgia was real. We looked back and we seeked comfort. And when you think about the good old days, you deem these as simpler times, whether that was before mock exams were on the horizon or before social media was so prevalent in our lives. But then when you look at the future, simple isn't the first word that comes to mind. As humans, we're always people wanting more, and we don't have the answers on how to get more. Therefore, the future is scary and it's daunting. But how about I told you guys to use that same rose-tinted lens as you do when you look at the past as when you look at the future. This mental shift of simplifying life and not overcomplicating everything is what has led me to be where I am today. So, I started high school in 2010, and I was a very short, shy, underdeveloped, high voice, fat kid. I didn't speak at all in my class. People thought I was an international student in my class like the first 2 months. And I was very content with my tight-knit little friend group until I was around 16 years old. This is when people started going to house parties, and growing up watching Hollywood films, I wanted to hold a red plastic cup and drink Spike Punch as well. And although it took me a little longer than a lot of my classmates, I finally was invited to my first house party. Her name was Cassidy, and I was going to do anything it took to make it to this house party. I even fell down with the nastiest flu, and I skipped school from Monday to Friday to make it. And that's unheard of in Asian society. And so Friday night came around, and this cloud of doom just came over me. And I realized, holy shit, I'm going to my first fucking house party. And the guys at school who pick on me are going to be there. People I've never met before are going to be there. How am I going to talk to them? And then all these thoughts are going through my head of is this a practical joke? Have I been set up? I was hyperventilating. My face went all red. I got butterflies in my stomach. And just when I was about to pull the pin, my friend Liana, I'll never forget her advice. She looked me dead straight in the eye. She handed me a shot of vodka. She said, take this, chill the fuck out, you're just really nervous. Before you guys say her advice was shit, I just need to preface that we were 16 years old, and this is a time before social anxiety was even a topic of conversation. We didn't really know what it was. And at the end of the day, I was just really, really nervous. So I replayed her advice over and over again in my head before the party, during the party, and even before getting on the stage, minus the vodka part. And things just get a little bit easier. And I wanted to tell you guys that when you're hit with complex emotions like that, try simplifying them a little bit, and you might actually find yourself getting out of them. But I know, some of you guys are probably sitting there being Albert, shut up. That's easier said than done, especially as you grow older. Life sends you heartache and setbacks, and I'm no stranger to this. Before Eat Lit Food was even an idea, I was actually a model. Yeah, why are you guys looking at me like that? I was. Look it up. I was doing my first season of modeling overseas in Korea, and unfortunately, the pressures of the industry got the better of me. I fell down with a terrible eating disorder, anorexia and bulimia, and I had to come home to recover. So this was a time in my life when food wasn't just food anymore. Food was either good or was either bad, and it was a numbers game. I was always counting calories in my head, so much to the point that my mum, who's a math teacher, would have almost been proud of me if she knew how much I was counting. So After years of doing that, I realized that I don't want to do this anymore. The counting game was boring, so I decided I had a new tactic. And this new tactic was, I'm going to eat one thing a day. Not one meal, one thing. And I started to obsess over this one thing that I was going to eat. It had to be perfect. All hell would break loose, and I would have a panic attack. So that's how I started getting to reading reviews online. I realized no one was really doing it in Auckland. And if they were kind of writing it in a way where it seemed like they had to stick up their ass. So I decided to write it myself. And my casual tone included a lot of swearing. And this resonated with a lot of people because us Kiwis love to swear. And I accumulated thousands and thousands of followers each week. And it was a real crazy time in my life because I suddenly became known as this guy who loves talking about food and loves eating food. In all honesty, every post I was uploading was a huge hurdle I need to cross. The next hurdle was, it was around when I had 9,000 followers. And I really wanted to hit 10,000 because you get that K on your profile. It meant so much to me at the time. And I knew people wanted the real deal. They wanted restaurant reviews. People were tired of seeing pastries. The reason I was reviewing pastries is because I thought no matter how decadent this pastry was, it's not going to be over 1,000 calories, so as long as I'm eating that one thing a day, I'll be okay. But now that I'm going to restaurants, I needed to play the numbers game again. So I'll invite you guys into the mind of someone with an eating disorder. So the first restaurant I went to review was called Depot. I'm going to Depot tonight. That means no breakfast or lunch, only water throughout the whole day. I look at the menu to prepare myself mentally. Fish sliders are popular. Okay, fish sliders will be around 200 calories. Let's make it 150 by leaving some bread behind. Lamb ribs are popular as well, when you get that. It's not uncommon for restaurants to flash fry their lamb ribs into the deep fryer. So it's very oily and filled with calories, so let's just have a few bites of that. Don't take it off the bone. That'll bring you up to around 450 calories in total. Don't get a main meal to yourself because there is no main dish at a restaurant over 1,000 calories. No, under 1,000 calories, sorry. It's always glazed in butter and oil, that's why it tastes so good. So order one main for the table, share it, have 3 or 4 bites, maybe 5 bites if you're really hungry. Don't touch the sauce, don't look at any fatty parts, and don't even think about dessert. So it's very noisy in there, if you guys get the gist. So after a while of doing this, I decided enough was enough, and I decided to go to my good friend Google for some answers. And before you guys judge me, you guys have all self-diagnosed on Google as well. I came across forums, and they were there was a lot of people who shared the same negative relationship with food that I did. And there was a lot of conversation about control. It was a very hectic time in their lives, so they decided to take control by controlling their eating. The stories are like, my brother died, and I decided it was real hectic, and I decided to take control of my life by controlling what I ate. My sister is very alive and well, and although I don't have the wealthiest parents, I had a very cushy upbringing, so I've always had control over my life. So I didn't really relate to this stuff. So I called it a day. I carried on living with my eating disorder, and it just got worse and worse, and my frustration of not knowing why I was still in this was growing more. So I went on a therapy tour. I knew I needed to see someone, and every therapist I saw 3 in total, they kept asking me the same question. Do you feel like you lack control? No. Do you feel like controlling your food gives you control over your life? No. By the time my 4th therapist asked me this, I exploded. I literally said to her, I just want to be fucking skinny. I was fat as a kid, I became a model, and then now the pressures of the industry are making me become thinner. After I